Hey guys, it is Taishika checking in here. As promised, I am making this video to talk about the spreadsheets that I posted on my Instagram story a few days ago that really took off and we had a lot of questions about it. So remember, on Instagram, I am posting snippets of something, and if you show enough interest on my YouTube channel, I am giving you more detailed information about it. So let's go ahead and hop right in. At my campus, we are an ACE campus, and we have these 5 pillars that we stand on. So you have student culture, classroom rigor, curriculum, observation feedback, and data practices. Now, all of those components meshed together will ultimately make us an A campus if we implement it with fidelity. So at the end of this school year, me and my math instructional coach sat down and we were reflecting, and then I just pulled up a spreadsheet and then we just started putting all of our thoughts on there. The biggest thing that we were running into is, how do we track our impact? So how are we tracking every single minute thing to where we can see where those areas of concern, the areas of growth, and then what are those things that we are doing really good in to where we can not only celebrate our students, but also celebrate our teachers, the paraprofessionals, the other team members on the leadership team. So first, let's go ahead and talk about student culture. When we think about student culture, we typically go straight into the classroom. How is the student culture, when the teacher is teaching or when they are working in small groups? But that's not it. Student culture not only embodies what happens inside the classroom, but also what happens outside the classroom. What is a culture doing during arrival or dismissal or in the hallways or at lunch? All of that together embodies student culture. So what this company called BRES, I'll be sure to link that in the description area, has done is they have broken all of this down to where if we do all of these things across the culture, it is going to elevate and maximize student culture altogether. So the first one is VBT, which stands for Voice Body Time. A quick example, and I'm just going to be giving examples of this because I really want you to check them out so you can see the amazing things that they have in place. So for VBT is Voice Body Time, and that is directly tied to the directives that you as the administrator, teachers, custodians, literally everybody needs to speak that language so we can make sure that the students have the highest opportunity to get it right the first time. Example would be, on a voice level 0, I want you to open up your laptops and go into Education Galaxy within 30 minutes. Start now, okay? That tells the students that I shouldn't be talking because it's a voice level 0. My body, like what are the students physically doing? So they are opening up the Chromebooks and going to Education Galaxy. And then we put a time limit there so we are maximizing all of our instructional time. All right. So then you have radar. Radar is when you are just radaring the room. So you're looking around. So after you give that directive, you want the students to see you seeing them. I hope that made sense, but this is radar here, okay? So if you are standing in the front or the back, you want to radar and make sure that everyone is on one accord. So then you have scan. So you should be scanning what the students are doing. So here you're actually walking around and you are scanning and making sure that everyone is doing what you have asked them to do. So then you have positive narrations. A lot of time we go to the students who aren't doing what we asked. However, we've had to do a paradigm shift to where instead of redirecting those behaviors that aren't aligned with what we want, we narrate the positive ones. So we say, hey, Ty, thank you for XYZ. And you want to make sure that they are specific. So, hey, Ty, I want to thank you for opening up your Chromebook within the 30 seconds. Hey, Joshua, I see that you're on Education Galaxy and you've already started your warm-up. Good job for that. 9 times out of 10, those students who are not doing what you ask, they are going to go ahead and jump right in. And keep in mind that this is not only in the classroom. This can also be in the hallways. Hey, Tiffany, I see that you are walking at a voice level 0 to your PE class. Good job. All right. So then you also have proximity. You want to use proximity, and again, this is whole school wise. We are not trying to keep pressing down on our students with, those negative behaviors or drawing attention to what they aren't doing. We're going to use proximity then. So if we've positively narrated what we see and what's going well, and that didn't work for that student, now we're going to go ahead and get a little bit close to them. And that's not touching them. That is just being in the area or in the space where they are to see if they can correct their own behavior. So we want to continue empowering our students to get it right. And then the next one, if positive narrations don't work, if proximity don't work, that is where we go into a quiet redirection. That means that we will kneel next to the student and we'll say, hey, this is a reminder that you should be logging into Education Galaxy right now, okay? Quiet redirection, nothing loud to where we are screaming or standing in front of the class, embarrassing the student. Again, this is all about student empowerment and creating that student culture across the entire campus. So now let's go ahead and go into Classroom Rigor and check out that spreadsheet. So this is specifically tied to instruction. We want to make sure that we are providing our students with worthy work and that our instruction is tier 1 every single day. So first, when we go inside, and again, this is levels and tiers as well for our teachers, we first look at the lesson objective. Is it there? Is it written correctly? Is it aligned to what we discussed in PLCs? Is it aligned to the standards? Once we have that checked off, then we go to exit tickets. Are the exit tickets printed out or are they created? And then are they administered? And then the next tier within that is, how did the teacher use that in order to close gaps? So then after the teacher has mastered lesson objectives and then your exit tickets, then you go ahead and move into the IWU. So that is a teaching model that we use. So the I do, we do, you do. And again, we are taking it in tiers. So the I do. Are the teachers modeling? For the students, we should be seeing, backs up, pencil in hand, and they are simply watching. They shouldn't be doing anything else. However, if the teacher do say, all right, go ahead and write this down, they are ready. Okay, so that's the I do, direct instruction modeling. Then we have the we do, which is more guided. So it is student and teachers participating together. And then we have the you do, which is typically your independent practice. So that is that, and it is all in tiers. So if you go inside of a classroom and the first thing you see is a lesson objective, okay, check. They get a check for that. Then you go to the back table and you don't see exit tickets. That's where they'll stop and there'll just be a small conversation, a whisper where it's like, hey, so-and-so, I see that you don't have your exit tickets. Where are those located? I've had a teacher say, oh, I forgot to submit those copies. What I do as an administrator is, instead of, again, pressing down on them, I want to empower them. So I leave, I go make the copies, and I put it where it's supposed to be. And then I stay a little bit longer, or I'll circle back to make sure that they administered them. And then I see some markings to show me that they have actually laid eyes on every single document. All right, so next on here you see AGMO, which is aggressive monitoring. So anytime that our teachers give students any type of activity, we want to make sure that they are always monitoring. So what it looks like is the teacher, when I walk in, I should see the teacher with the clipboard in hand. And on that clipboard, they should have their pathway, which is the route that they're walking. I should also see their exemplar. So whatever assignment that we are asking our students to do, we need to make sure that our teachers do that in advance, all right? So that is aggressive monitoring and data collection. So if they say, all right, students at a voice level 1, I want you to work with your partner on question 3. These are the things that I am looking for. You have 4 minutes, start. They are going to have their clipboard with their exemplar in hand, and they are walking around, and we are seeing markings, okay? Good job for step 1. I like how you did that, Tiffany. Make sure Jordan does that as well, all right? Good job, I like you. So we have our exemplar, so we are not sitting here with our phones trying to figure out, if you're in a math class, oh, okay, what's this times this, or what is this fraction, or what's this conversion? We want to make sure that we are prepared in advance for that. And then the last one, we have aggressive monitoring with intervention. So that means during that RTI block, or maybe they are in small groups or workstations, you want to make sure that you are aggressively monitoring their progress. So it is not enough for the teachers to have the workstations there, but we don't see what the students are doing. We need to make sure that we are aggressively monitoring. Okay, when you are here at this station, you are working on these task cards. Make sure that you have your Chromebook and your writing journal next to it, because I need to see your work in your interactive journal. And then on this Google form, you're going to submit your answers. All right, and then we are going to conference individually for the rest of this week based on what you just did. Next, we have curriculum, and this is more focused on your PLCs, which are your professional learning communities. Typically in elementary campuses, you may have it once a week, and then when you go into middle school, high school, that's when you'll have it once a day. So the first tab here, we have preparation. That's simple. Did the teacher come prepared? If you as a campus are requiring your reading teachers to come with their teacher edition, sticky notes, and a laptop, that is just a simple check. And that's not to say that you have to have your Chromebook out and you are putting a 3, 2, or 1 right there. However, when you have your leadership meeting on those Fridays or Tuesdays or whatever day you have set aside, we can now have our instructional coaches talk about, okay, what are you seeing in your science PLCs? What are you seeing in your social studies PLCs? What are you seeing in reading and math PLCs? What are the trends? Wherever we see opportunities of growth, is it in a particular grade level? Is it a certain group of teachers? You have more concrete data to make those decisions, because a lot of times it's off of bias, or, oh, well, this teacher was like this last year, so it's probably, no, that's unfair. Okay, so we want to make sure that we are collecting true data and that we are constantly monitoring them so we can make sure that the overall culture is set. So the next thing is the calendar. For my campus, we do follow set curriculums. So our reading program follows CKLA and Benchmark, and then our math department follows Eureka Math. This is our first year going to Eureka Math. So there are certain calendars. We want to make sure that teachers are following that calendar and coming to PLCs prepared to share out. Again, it is just something quick you can check. So the next one is protocols. Are they following your PLC protocols? And the biggest one that we really try to implement here is equity of voice. We have a lot of bold teachers, then we have the shy teachers, the passive teachers, the more assertive teachers. It's kind of everywhere, but again, we want to empower every single individual on our campus to do what's right. Even if that is, if you are a talker like me, I have to be more self-conscious so I can practice equity of voice and allow someone else to speak. So then the last one we have is impact. What is the overall impact of Miss Williams speaking out? How has that impacted the entire grade level? Or what is the impact in the classroom when you're looking at the data? And I am not talking about only district or campus assessments. What about those exit tickets? What is the tangible impact that we are seeing happening? So far we went over student culture, classroom rigor, and curriculum. Now we're going to hop over to observation feedback. This is the most colorful and busy document here, but it's really quick. This is for our instructional coaches to use. We want to empower them to not sit in their offices, but actually come out and be in the classrooms. So we do that by having this spreadsheet where they are following this. The administrators use this as well, but this particular spreadsheet is solely for our coaches. And what they do is in the content column, they put whether it is reading, math, science, social studies, whichever one they are going in for. And then they are going to put the date that they went and did the observation. Then they're going to put the date of when they met with the teacher of how to fix whatever that area of growth is. Then they're going to put the date of find it, and then the date that they followed up by going into the classroom and seeing the correction that the teacher has made. So this is all about accountability and making sure that every single teacher is touched and is being poured into. Often we have our tier 3 teachers that are getting more of us, if that makes sense. Like, we are always in there, and those teachers can feel the pressure when they see an administrator and a coach always in there day after day. That will start to weigh them down. So we created this to where we can stretch more of ourselves and make sure we're hitting those tier 1 teachers, those tier 2 and tier 3 teachers, because everyone should be professionally growing on your campus. So the last one that we have is data practices. And here, again, we have preparation. Are the teachers prepared? Do they have their exemplar ready? So let's say we ask them to bring the exit tickets. Do the teacher have their exemplar ready? And then, have they went through and graded every single student's exit ticket? And then, have they categorized it to where you have the high, medium, low? So whatever those expectations are, that goes into preparation. Then you have data knowledge. So when it comes time to speak, what we don't want to do is come into the PLCs and we are always hearing the instructional coach leading out these conversations, or they're the ones that's dropping the numbers, because it's a part of their actual job duty. We want to empower our teachers to know just as much about the students as our instructional coaches do. So that is data knowledge, and I recommend that you have a list of questions that will help the teacher develop that skill of how to look at the data, how to analyze it, and then how to come prepped within PLCs to be ready to talk about it. So the next one is equity of voice, which we've already discussed. And then the last one, again, is impact, which we have discussed as well. So those are the 5 big rocks in detail. Again, in the description area, I will go and link the company who we use the first year at this campus. They are excellent and highly recommended.